Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whatever time it is, I hope you're having a great one. You're here with email, and I would just like to talk about the dismantling of our system, of our government system. So, the things I would like to talk about is just 10 points. I normally like 10. Is one, the greedy billionaires racing to become trillionaires. This is going to be a theme that we're talking about. There's never been so much wealth that's been uh, produced in the world and all these activities just for the purpose of making money. And then we're going to be trading the money for services. And by the time you realize it, America's like when it comes to the warehouses, yeah, it's a lot of things that we need to go over, particularly the trade deal that Clinton took that had. We are gonna go over that. The thing is, in order to counter things, it takes time to make it right, and you just don't go and try to do a haymaker with people who are great, skilled people too. So that was kind of foolish. What I'm my main thing is when you think about billionaires, they're normally globalists, and globalists don't care about one nation. They care about the conglomerate of all nations. So if you are a rich billionaire, if one country doesn't like you, you just go to another country because technically speaking, you have more money than some countries technically. All right, so let's talk about number two. Um, Small men aiming to destroy Earth to reach Mars. And when we think about the small men who are trying to leave Earth, they don't care what they leave in its wake. This is a dangerous precedent to be made, and it's going to be ongoing. If you remember Elon Musk stating, "We'll never get to Mars on this," and talking about the FAA is so horrible because they want to regulate him and his space dust that he allowed to for the rockets to have all this fragmented parts and just debris fall into the Caribbean islands. Very disrupting. So the third thing, number three, playing identity politics to allow disinformation to run rampant. This is a strategy that you're going to continue hearing it because it's a true thing. The third right talks about it. A lot of other people talk about the disinformation campaign, the propaganda that Germany took that did, and then really we've all been part of it in a way, but it's one of them things where identity politics makes it easier for information to run rampant that we know is false, but it feels good to say and it benefits us. And it is what it is. So number four, backroom mobster plan to reenact art like work like Captain Planet, like Casino. I will go as far to say House of Cards. It's just a bunch of other little things. Big Short. It's a bunch of different kind of crazy movies. One that kind of come to mind is all the AI kind of crazy ones like Terminator, and it's like Matrix. And I say that because I'm always thinking about I love AI, I love technology. I love like being able to see things and hear things and do things that people before us, a lot of us, you know, back then 5,000, 10,000, maybe they did have technology that we don't know about. But to our understanding, they didn't. So at this point, I'll say that most humans have never done. So I appreciate being able to fly here and there. So that's something that is great. I just feel like when we talk about technology, we need to take it with a grain of salt. And then if we were to have continued with what Carter was trying to do, and granted, there's a lot of things that Carter probably did wrong, and we're gonna go over that. But to my understanding, he was a man of integrity. He was looking out for the little guy. He was trying to make the warehouses and the middle class bigger and stronger. But we got sold out by a celebrity. And you know how I feel about when it comes down to celebrity and dealing with positions of political substance. It's too easy for you to lie because you've been lying on screen as far as being a actor or actress. It's more or less the actors and actresses. If you're an actor and actress, it's like in a sense we don't know if you're real or not. You've been lying a lot. But he's trying to reenact a bunch of movies, and it's this like 10 years from now, 20. Hopefully, we're still alive. And I tell you this, the world power scene, the way that we're gonna be like, man, we used to be the greatest, but now China is better. We used to be the greatest, but blah 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 blah. That is gonna be the terms, and then someone else is gonna come out like Trump. And this is after minorities come and save the day. We've been doing it ever since. We don't get no credit. That's one reason why they're trying to knock out. That's the reason a lot of people was willing to go with this identity politics, because they want to wipe out Obama's legacy. And then what's crazy, they want to wipe out Biden's legacy, and then they want to wipe out really a lot of stuff that I would go as far to say Bill Clinton, even those types of progressives. So 1980, like 1978, 1979, that's when the DOE, they took it over from the HWE, the health, wellness, and education, something like that. So it's crazy. They're really trying to knock out like 50 years of progress. Let's move on. So when friends become enemies, this is, I believe we're on number 5. When friends become enemies, and vice versa, there is no national security. There's not even international security nor national security. And what that means is all the people who moved out of country, if they're not nervous, they need to be nervous, because again, when friends become enemies and enemies become friends, you don't know who's ready to stab you in your back or your front, and it's like with Putin, the average individual, the average leader knows not to deal with Putin, or really trust Putin. But when you deal with criminals and mobsters and those backroom deals and globalists and racists and fascists and white supremacists, and when you deal with those kind of the conglomerate of people, the morals is really not there. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a fight that we're gonna have to deal with. And in order for us to get back our national security, we're first gonna have to get rid of the orange mango man. Mango gotta go, or the orange, big mango, whatever he wants to be called. But yeah, the Don gotta go, man. And I say that because national security, like he has deals with these countries that we have issue with, and he's actually profiting. He has meme coins, and he has these ways that they go to Mar-a-Lago, and he's getting sponsorships up front. He's having people pay for their loyalty. Then he's kicking out all of the independent regulatory agencies, those type of positions that are supposed to check the executive office. We're supposed to have 3 branches for a reason. But when you take away all of the independent regulatory agencies, the ones that oversee the actual running of the country, that's when you're going to start having issues. But let's go ahead and get to number 6. So we're now to number 6. All right. So People work like ants, ignoring the magnifying lens on them. And it reminds me of the movie Don't Look Up. And what this means is we're so busy gathering our food, gathering our work, and then what we want to do is have fun. And, I'm a firm believer, work hard, play harder. I'm real firm on that. So whenever money's been made and it's like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, you see me in Vegas, you see me on the boat, I play, and that's good or bad. But at the same time, when 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 I was going through that and working like that and not thinking about what I'm thinking about now, I am ignoring all of the reforms, all of the proposals, all of the attempts that have been, a lot of them have been faulted. But when you start trying to arrest and intimidate judges, and I believe the Wisconsin judge that just got arrested, the lady, and all she really was doing was trying to protect the person who came in there. Because the thing is, if I'm a judge and I have a person coming to court and they're trying to get right, it's kind of jacked up if the person come and the judge is against it. Now, if the judge was with it, all right, man, you right. Come on, get him. But the judge is saying, like, I just told this man this, and if you do get him, that's gonna make me look bad. And then everyone who comes to this courthouse is gonna think this is a setup. And then when people do try to come to courthouse, they're gonna be like, they're not gonna show up. They might be a witness to a murder, or they might be a witness to or whatever, but they're scared to show up because if they show up, they're gonna be deported. So at this point, you probably put a monkey wrench in the judge's hand as far as like being able to really conduct business. But let's move to the next one. So we're going to talk about number 7, social media, public media, allowing fictional narratives to overwrite reality. This is something that has already happened and is already in play. And if you notice, well, I believe there is an interview with an individual who was talking about AI. Let me not even talk about the individual because I can't comprehend where it's coming from. But what's going on is when you talk about X, when you talk about that type of social media platform, if you are corrupt and you want to control the people's thoughts, you kind of can monitor and push whatever agenda and force things and stuff. Then when you start suing the media and start pressuring them, when you start suing them, when you start banning them from going to federal buildings and then just making sure that certain ones can't go to the White House, when you start vilifying them, when you start allowing people to be able to sue people because they get certain pieces of information wrong, when you go after the little guy and then you stop them because you intimidate them with potential lawsuits to stop, cease and desist. The thing is, the way that our system is supposed to be set up, we're supposed to be able to criticize the biggest guy up top. The reason why is because we live in a democracy. When we work in the guise of a dictator or authoritarian, that's when Nelson Mandela type activities happen and people start disappearing. And that's when you have the case of people going to Venezuela. And it might be right on some of them, but at the same time, I would say 95% is wrong. Because if you lump people in and you didn't see what they did, but you're going off of what this person said, that person who said something could have known something that did it, or they just don't like that person. Either or, we needed to worry about that. Public media is scared to say the truth because there's too many backing. and because it's too many backing, social media is not is horrible because people just stay in their bubble and they're not forced to face reality. And some people are really paying attention, but the majority of us have short attention spans. If you can't tell me in 3 minutes, don't want to talk to me. It has to happen in less 3 minutes or less, baby. 3 minutes or less. I gotta go. I'm that busy. If you ain't giving me my money, you ain't paying me, I don't even want to talk to you. That's how people are, man. I got miles of feet. Like I ain't got a family. You got miles. We all got miles of feet. What's new? Even thieves, murderers, and rapists really love their family. But that's neither here nor there. We're not ready for that conversation. Let's move on. So we're gonna get to number 8. So provide an enemy people will blame, solve, and solve the problem. They'll thank you. So by them providing an enemy in or an object. So when I keep talking about China, they're trying to say you need to be mad at China. They're trying to get all that kind of, that China hate. And then the only real reason why we beef in China is because China is performing better than a lot of matrices. And it's our fault only. Because the reason why I say is because we're so dead set on just entertainment and just having fun that we neglect our studies. And this is seen when we look at the country China, because China's doing so much better when it comes to structure wise. They're investing in their people. They're actually the healthcare, to my understanding, is better. And even that little thing like that, we are not a third world country, but we act like it when it comes to our healthcare. Why is it that we don't have universal healthcare? That something that's so like basic, like some parts of the healthcare system, we need to make it a point to make it so that we should have baseline care. It's like, but we're not going to get that because we are so capitalist that we'll rather see someone die than to let them make it. And the question I have to ask, and this is, no, I'm not going to go there. So the main thing, whenever you provide an enemy or something that people can dislike, it makes it easier for you to get away with stuff because you can always blame that set people. So that used to happen when black people got out of slavery. You used to be the scapegoat when it comes to a lot of things. So because of that, that's one reason why I'm sitting here when people are so quick to jump on the immigrants that I'm thinking like, hey, you remember back when? You remember back when? And then when white women were acting surprised that they were DEI, I didn't think the leopards would eat my face, not my face. Girl, they really they don't feel sorry for a lot of people who got laid off when it come down to if they voted for Trump. No offense, but it's like if you were a person who voted for Trump, depending on the reason why, I don't feel sorry. Now, if you voted for him and you just don't really didn't pay attention, or I don't know, maybe a little grace on it, but at the same time, come on, man. Like he was horrible. 2016, 2020. I remember people was crying in 2015. And I knew it was bad in 2015. I knew it was gonna be bad. Moving on. So let's go to number 9. So number 9, rewrite, reconstruct public, private life in order to run it. And this is with the services that we've been provided by cutting down the services, by eliminating Social Security, Medicare, and then eliminating certain entitlements, benefits that the public service provides for us, as far as food stamps, as far as veteran benefits, as far as disability for people, period, as far as whatever kind of subsidies, HUD, as far as whatever kind of assistance that is normally provided for homeless people, as far as whatever kind of money that the public pays through the taxes, in a sense, by eliminating it, by making it harder to get, by making it so that others that used to be able to get it can't get it. That is what's going to happen, and they're going to make it harder for some and easier for others. And with that being said, it's going to ruin some lives, and it's going to be really bad, because the thing is, if it's right or wrong, I understand that that lady with them 8 kids over there really should not be getting everything she get. But cutting off cold turkey, come on now, them kids gotta eat. They didn't ask to be born here. Now that lady with the eight kids, yeah, she should have known better after the fourth one. Right or wrong, I'm not even gonna call the lepers on that one. But I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of change in that. I'm just saying, like, what I guess my point is, there is limits on it, and I do think that reconstructing a lot of it is needed. Reform is, and there's a process, there's a step, but cold turkey is as cold blooded. And it's like you're asking for like services when you cut off, like when and if they do, because eventually they are going to take out Social Security, have a big paycheck for the real big rich oligarchy. So that is going to happen eventually. And when that does happen, it's going to hurt a lot of people who, like, their whole life they paid into Social Security knowing that they were going to get it back. And if it's wrong or right, that is a only source of money. And now they're 75 years of age, and they used to be a bricklayer or something, or they used to be a job that's been phased out. Why? Because if you think about it, if you're 75 years of age, and let's say you spent the last 40 years in the industry, that industry might be phased out a little bit. Even accounting services are about to be phased out. And it's just like, for a long time it was like, do something that's gonna be here for a long time. Accounting is one of them. And it's cool, but stagecoach drivers ain't here. Long story short, the older we get, the more likely the job that we do, if we're the people who die hard in it and live and die hard in whatever we do, it's gonna get phased out after a while. And even with education, do you know that they are currently right now working with the thought process of putting AI in the black schools? It literally does say that, but that's that. We'll talk about that later. All right, so we are now to the final number 10. They plan to gut the government like a fish, to fry it hard with lemon sauce, maybe with a little lemon pepper and hot sauce. All right. And they're going to serve it in a private party. They're going to privatize it. So the reason why I'm saying they're going to gut it, they're going to take out all of the services that they feel that is not needed, or quote quote DEI. They're going to cut it out. They just cut out a SBA department for minority businesses. So the minority business office in the SBA, they have cut that off. I wonder why. So that's the stuff they're doing. They're anything that's civil rights, they're trying to cut it back. When he talk about making America great again and bringing terrorists back, terrorists is like Hoover. And Hoover, that's Great Depression time. So he wants to bring us back to Great Depression time. He wants to bring it back where hate was okay, where it was okay to hate your neighbor, and it was okay to bring the pitchforks and do jungle justice. So again, their plan is to gut all of these services, gut all of them, the OCR, all of the services and protections, the DOE, Department of Education. They want to gut all of that Head Start. They want to gut all of it. They don't care. Even your little baby who's 4 years old is not safe. Now, if you these three or four, instead of them having the quote unquote head start in for mama to get some rest, because mama be like this. Child, go sit down. What are you doing? That's mama. Mama used to be able to go send them to that little school before the elementary. And after that, she'll come pick him up. Won't be as long. Little head start. And it's kind of crazy that that's the program that you choose to try to eliminate. What some babies do to you, Trump? But that was highlighted in Mandate 2025. So I'm gonna bid y'all adieu. And this was 10 ways that the Trump administration is dismantling our systems. And I will advise you, or I wouldn't say advise you, I will ask you kindly to go ahead and check out the mandate studies. And I will break it down just the end portions, whereas it's the breakdown. But for right now, I'm just trying to make sure the website's up and running real good, and that way we get some more people to be involved in some of the workshops and to come on this, and then we can all have discussions and really even collaborate on some of the pages that will be on emillions.org, which is going to be also adding some extra tutoring for third grade, middle school grades, as well as high school, mostly math all through. But third grade, I'm focused on English, reading, and grammar. You know, those are the three things. All English, all composition type stuff. Trying to get the kids reading, just literacy. That's the main thing. And some word problems, basic math. Then we talk about middle school, where we're going to start hitting them with pre-algebra, just really computation for the sixth grade. Eighth grade, we're going to get them ready for algebra. And then high school is all of the high school. And then, of course, all through is reading. You got to have some form of reading. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to stop boring y'all with the extra parts of the with the tutoring. At the same time, if you need tutoring, you can still hit up emillions.org. So if your kids need some help, or you're a homeschool parent and you need to be able to teach your kid, and you need some techniques and strategies, I have great strategies as far as great online support systems that can help you, as well as be able to help you out with some other services. But let's move on. So go ahead and check out the mandate studies. If you are interested in being a part of the podcast, make it a point to fill out the form on emillions.org in order for your voice to be heard, because your voice does matter. Your voice does mean something. And the sooner and the quicker we talk about it, the more and more other people are going to be involved. And at a certain point, it's not going to be just you. It's going to be 15 other people that's going to be siding with you. And when you have 15 more people sign with you, at that point, it's not just you, you have a whole crew. You have basically a football team with you. And at that point, you having that football team being more than if you were Mike Tyson. So this has been a great day. This is email checking out, and this is Food for Democracy for Democracy.